Welcome everyone to this training session on organic heterogeneous material. Unit 2 of this module focuses on how to set up a notification procedure. You can find out more about this topic in the video Organic Heterogeneous Material, a new marketing regime for diversified seed populations. This video was produced and presented by the Belgian non-profit association Artemisia and the Seeds for All project.
Starting in January 2022, the new European regulation on organic production has opened the possibility for all operators to place seeds of organic heterogeneous material on the market. This new category of seeds can be used in organic farming, for home gardening, but also, if desired, in conventional farming. This possibility should enable organic farming to achieve its fundamental objectives, in particular, to contribute to a high level of biodiversity. By increasing the availability of organic seeds, it should also help to achieve the goal that only organic plant propagating material is used for the production of organic plants and plant products. This video will break down this new regime and show you how easy it is to enter the market, helping to grow the organic sector, its consumer base, and restore agrobiodiversity. What is organic heterogeneous material? The new law defines organic heterogeneous material as a plant grouping which presents common phenotypic characteristics, but at the same time is characterized by a high level of genetic and phenotypic diversity between individuals. In other words, the individual plants are not absolutely identical or homogeneous. Instead, they show a diversity of botanical traits between them, all while retaining common characteristics, which makes it possible to identify these individuals as belonging to a particular plant grouping. Organic heterogeneous material is not a variety, as defined by the plant breeders' rights legislation, because it is not uniform. It is also not a mixture of varieties. As a result, organic heterogeneous material cannot be subject to plant breeders' rights and therefore belongs in the public domain. You can sell organic heterogeneous material from all the species covered by the 11 sectoral directives governing the marketing of seeds, including fodder plants, cereals, vegetables, ornamental plants, potatoes, oil, fiber plants. Any species that are not currently regulated under these directives can still be freely placed on the market. Finally, in order to be sold on the market, organic heterogeneous material must have been produced under organic farming conditions for at least one generation for annual species and for at least 2 generations for biennial or other perennial species. How can I market organic heterogeneous material? Plant reproductive material of organic heterogeneous material may be marketed following the notification of a descriptive dossier to the responsible official body. That notification shall be sent by registered letter or by any other means of communication accepted by the authority. 3 months later, provided no additional information was requested by the authority or that no formal refusal was communicated to the supplier, the responsible authority is deemed to have acknowledged the notification and its content, and the seeds may be placed on the market. After having expressly or implicitly acknowledged the notification, the authority may proceed to the listing of the notified organic heterogeneous material. That listing shall be free of charge for the supplier. Importantly, the transfer of limited quantities of plant reproductive material of organic heterogeneous material intended for research and development is exempted from any formality and may occur freely without needing to notify. It should also be noted that the new regime for organic heterogeneous material entirely derogates from the existing horizontal legislation on the marketing of seeds, except where it is expressly provided for, namely for quality of standards applicable to seed lots. That means that suppliers of organic heterogeneous material don't have to be formally registered as seed producers, and farmers may become seed sellers if they wish to do so. How should organic heterogeneous material be described when it is notified to the competent authority? A delegated regulation of May 2021 describes the elements that must be included in the notification dossier. This dossier has to be composed of 5 items of information. 1. The phenotypic or botanical characteristics of the material, meaning a description of the differences and similarities between individuals. In other words, a description of both the common characteristics and the heterogeneity of the material. This description can include the agronomic characteristics of the material, like the yield observed, the resistance to pests, or the taste of the material, as well as the results of any available tests related to these characteristics, if available. 2. The type of technique used for selection or the production of the material. A formal breeding activity is not necessarily required. 3. The parental material used to breed or produce the material. 4. The selection and management practices of the material on the farm site. 5. Finally, the country of breeding or production, including the information on the year of production and a description of the soil and climate conditions. What kind of technique may be used for the breeding or production of organic heterogeneous material? The delegated regulation lists 3 kinds of technique. 1. Techniques leading to the creation of composite cross populations, which result from the crossing of several different types of parental material, using crossing protocols to produce diverse organic heterogeneous material by bulking of the progeny, repeatedly resowing and exposing the stock to natural and/or human selection. 2. On-farm management practices, including farmer selection and maintenance or conservation of the material. 3. Any other technique of breeding or production of organic heterogeneous material. As you can see, options remain very open, allowing for both traditional or local material conserved by natural selection or by farmer selection, as well as new material resulting from relatively informal breeding activities, or, on the contrary, following precise agronomic protocols. What quality standards apply to organic heterogeneous material? Particularly as regards health, specific or analytical purity, and germination, organic heterogeneous material will have to comply with the same quality standards as all other kinds of seeds on the market, as set out in the 11 sectoral directives mentioned before. However, no official certification of the seeds is necessary. It is therefore the responsibility of you, the supplier, to ensure full compliance with the rules, which will be controlled on a risk basis after the products reach the market in distribution channels. It is also possible to place organic heterogeneous material seeds on the market that do not comply with the minimum germination rates set by legal standards, as long as the supplier indicates the actual germination rate on the label or directly on the package. What rules apply to the labeling and packaging of organic heterogeneous material? Regarding packaging, a distinction is made between small packages, as defined in Annex 2 of the Delegated Regulation, and other packages. Small packages may be packed without the need for a special closing device. Larger packages must be sealed in such a way that they cannot be opened without leaving evidence of tampering on the package or container. A yellow label with a green diagonal cross must be affixed to the packages or containers of heterogeneous material, showing the information listed in Annex 1 of the Delegated Regulation, including the name of the organic heterogeneous material, the name and address of the supplier, and the country of production. Alternatively, the information may be printed directly on the package or container, in which case the green cross on a yellow background is not required. For small, transparent packages, the label may be placed inside the package, provided it is clearly legible. By way of derogation from these rules, it is also possible for seeds of organic heterogeneous material to be sold directly to final users in unmarked and unsealed packages up to the maximum quantities provided for in Annex 2 of the regulation, if the purchaser can be provided, on request, in writing and at the time of delivery, with the information concerning the species, the denomination of the material, and the reference number of the lot. What traceability rules apply to organic heterogeneous material? Operators must keep for 5 years a copy of the notification file sent to the competent authority, a copy of the declarations made in the context of the organic certification controls, a copy of the organic certificate obtained, as well as information allowing the identification of operators who have supplied them with parental material for the breeding or production of the organic heterogeneous material, if applicable. In addition, operators will have to keep a register containing the species and denomination of the notified organic heterogeneous material, the type of technique used for its production, a description of the material, the place of breeding, the place of production, and areas used for production, as well as quantities produced. This register must be accessible to the competent authorities in the event of an inspection. How will organic heterogeneous material be controlled? Organic production is subject to the official controls provided for in a specific European regulation on controls, voted in March 2017. Within this framework, organic heterogeneous material will be subject to official risk-based controls to ensure compliance with the rules described. It is therefore a system of non-systematic, a posteriori or post-marketing controls, similar to those applying to the so-called standard seeds, namely vegetable seeds, under the horizontal legislation on the marketing of seeds and distinct from those applicable to the so-called certified seeds, which are subject to a priori or pre-marketing controls. Must organic heterogeneous material be maintained? Maintenance requirements are mainly relevant for varieties protected by plant breeders' rights because protection lapses when the holder of the right has not taken any maintenance measures and is therefore no longer able to provide the competent authority with plant propagating material showing the very characteristics described at the time when the protection was granted. In the case of organic heterogeneous material, which cannot be protected by plant breeders' rights and whose genetic diversity and dynamic nature will inevitably lead to changes in its characteristics over time, maintenance is only required if it is possible and only for the period during which the material is placed on the market. Organic heterogeneous material will be on the database listing available organic seeds. According to the new regulation on organic production, member states are obliged to create a regularly updated database for listing the plant reproductive material available on their territory in organic quality or in conversion quality. This database should be designed to enable operators themselves, where they are able to supply such material in sufficient quantities and within a reasonable time, to make public the following information together with their names and contact details on a voluntary basis and free of charge. The material made available including any organic heterogeneous material, the quantity by weight of such material, and the period of the year when it is available. This material should be listed including, as a minimum, its scientific name in Latin. Operators will then have to ensure that the information they publish in the database is regularly updated and is removed once the material is no longer available. Member states may continue to use the relevant information systems already in place, provided that they offer the possibilities described. This database will allow organic farmers to know what is available on the market in organic quality, but also to diversify their production if they wish to do so by acquiring organic heterogeneous material. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please share it widely with your networks to help raise awareness on the new possibility to market and purchase seeds of organic heterogeneous material. Together, we can make this new regime a tangible reality on the ground to support the organic sector, its values, its consumers, and help restore agrobiodiversity.